Yo, Still Mills, what's the Diz Hill, man? We back. I ain't really did no videos in a minute, right? Like I just really ain't been wanting to talk about nothing, man. Just been chilling and wanting to listen to people's opinion on certain things regarding the sport. So I ain't really had nothing to talk about, man. But it is something I want to talk about in the now. So peep game, man, and that is Rayo, man. I figured some shit like that. It was some goofy shit, at play when it came to Rayo, man. Just this is why I make that video saying, why the fuck are you going over there fighting on the PBC, man? When you're already proving that this, and I wanted him, I was rooting for him to win because he's already shown a history of willing to leave the island and go and fight elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? Gary Russell is a good fighter. He's a good fighter, but the majority of them dudes are still loyal to the PBC. And the PBC are just not they don't have they're not as active as Matchroom because they just they don't have the funds to be as active as them, man. So when you're in a position of where you have the biggest bank account, right? You're in a position of where you could be right in that man's, I don't like saying in his pocket or whatever the case may be, like he on some sucker shit, but you're in a position of where he knows your name. He'll book you for shows or whatever the case may be. When you're right there, why hustle backwards and go back to a place that's not necessarily in a position to do for you? And to add insult to injury, how does the champion not even have a rematch clause in his fucking contract, bro? Like, that's just some shit that I can't get over. No rematch clause as a champion? That's wild. That's wild. And what's even wilder is these dudes will leave the island and then go on another platform and still be thanking Al Heyman for the opportunity to fight. It is like, bro, you're not fighting on the PBC. That man was on a Riyadh season card talking about thank you, Al Heyman. Like, man, what are we doing here? That same man you thinking you won't even give you a fucking won't even put a rematch clause in your contract. Like, come on, man. It's Gary Russell or nobody. And this was brazy, right? The same, like, how was it two champions fighting on the same card? But it's Gary Russell or nobody. Y'all couldn't get that man Alberto Puello? That's some shiesty bullshit, Brody. It is, man. Just the Garcias or whatever, they have a reputation of saying some slick shit. I won't deny that. I won't deny that. But just we could talk about that on a separate occasion, man. But in the now, they have every right to feel some type of way about what the fuck happened. How do you not give a champion a rematch clause? How do you not do that? And how do you tell that man is Gary Russell or nobody when Alberto Puello was fighting on it? Y'all could have fought in a unification matchup. This is goofy. This is goofy. That's a lot of I think Nestor said something about him looking out for for black fighters or whatever, and he's gonna prioritize black fighters first. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I mean, shit. Look at how Oscar De La Hoya does Floyd Schofield in comparison to Zepeda and Munguia. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Self-preservation is key in every human species. Every demographic of people. I'm not mad at that. You always gonna look out for you first. I'm not mad at that, man. But you can still look out for others, man. And in this situation, you have a champion on your side of the street, Brody. You have a champion over there, and when he's went over to other platforms, he has mentioned your name, keeping your legacy alive, doing the best that he can, at least, to do so. And you don't even think enough of that man to put a rematch clause in his contract, Brody. At this point, it's like the only Latino fighter you're gonna look out for is David Benavidez, because his name is attached to we know who. So you can't be mad at people for for speculating that because it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. So that shit is whack, man. Just I don't like that. I didn't like that at all, man. I don't like that at all. How do you not put a champion you put a rematch clause in the contract of a champion, Brody? I just don't get that. And how do you come off telling a motherfucker it's him or nobody else? As if you couldn't switch Sandor Martin around with fucking Gary Antoine Russell and let them two unify. That's shiesty. That's shiesty. And this is a dude that the motherfuckers are swear by. That's grimy as a motherfucker. Is Gary Russell Jr. or is Gary Antoine Russell or nobody? How that sound? Is Gary or nobody? With a whole other champion on that side of the street, but it's Gary or nobody. I said that in the video, bro. Like, why is this not a unification bout? This is just another sign of the it's an omen. Goofy matchmaking. It made no sense for y'all to fight each other and not them two. Gary didn't even deserve that title shot because he was coming off of a fucking loss. Man, you know how your ears be popping? And you just feel like you got, just something in your ear, yeah. Like water in your ear, whatever. That's what's going on with me, man. So I gotta do contort my jaw and all that shit to try, make my ear pop so I get my ear back right. But nah, man, just I'm about fairness, man. I'm about fairness, and I don't like how they did that to that dude. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all, man. I was rooting for him because I thought that, not even I thought, he's proven it. He's proven that he's willing to go outside of the PBC and lock horns with other fighters. Yes, I'm gonna root for that. Because contrary, I don't think the PBC I don't think they have terrible fighters. I think they have a multitude of overrated fighters. Absolutely. Overrated like a motherfucker. Hell yeah. Because a lot of it is game that they run. A lot of it is game. A lot of that shit that they do over there is game. It's media tactics. It's circus acts. It's all type of other shit to take you away from the fact of who has the better arsenal tools in the ring when it's time to disarm a motherfucker. They do that. And I'll pick up on it. And I'm boisterous about it. But that don't mean that I think the fighters over there are terrible. Not all of them. I don't think Gary Antoine Russell is a terrible fighter. I don't think he's better than Richardson, Hitchens, Teofimo. I don't think he's better than them dudes. And I don't think he's better than who else is one for? I don't think he's better than Subriel. I don't think he's better than them dudes. I don't think he's better than Jack Catterall. You dig? They looked out for that man in that Victor Postal fight with that bullshit stoppage. That dude was not on the cusp of being stopped. That was a bullshit stoppage. I'll never forget that. Like, yo, what are we doing? Y'all really think y'all stopped the fight for that? That was just a sign that the ref was ready to go home. Or stop the fight, you dig? So we can enhance this dude's resume. Nobody stopped Victor Postal before except Gary Antoine Russell. So nah, man. I sift through the bullshit and we get to the root of the issue. And the root is he's a good fighter, but I don't think he's about to be Gary Russell Jr. I don't think he'll be as good as Gary Russell Jr. because I think Gary Russell Jr. I think he was sharper. I think his defense was better. His hands were faster, clearly. Better counter puncher, a lot more calculated. So I don't think he's better than Gary Russell Jr. But I do think he's a good fighter. But I want to see fighters fight, man. It is fighters from the PBC side of the street that you do want to see matched up with other fighters on other platforms. We don't know if them dudes is willing to leave, leave the crib to go over there and find greener pastures on other platforms. We don't know that. They've yet to prove that. So when you got a Gary Russell, not a Gary, when you got a Rayo, it's like, all right, yo, he's willing. He's showing that he's willing to make that move. So I was rooting for him. And now you let these dudes finagle you to not putting a rematch clause in the contract as a champion, bro. That shit is wild to me. I don't get how anybody can be like, how could you even accept some shit like that, man? Just and then turn around and thank that man. Turn around and thank that man, man. This dude is shown, he's shown, how spiteful he can be and shady of a businessman he can be. You dig? I would not have went over there, dude. I'm sorry, I wouldn't have. If I was gonna lose, I bet that. Let me go over here and lose to Richardson Hitchens. Teofimo's now a champion over there at 140 pounds, and he getting re-eye money. Cool. That's a bet. That's a far bigger fight than fucking Gary Antoine Russell. It's a way better fight. You go in there and you lose to a two-time lineal two-division champion and Teofimo Lopez, as opposed to losing to Gary Antoine Russell, who hasn't even accomplished it in his last fight, was a loss to the other champion in his stable. I think that shit is nasty work. And you allowed them to do that shit to you, man, because y'all want to show fealty and loyalty to Al Heyman. And, so, I think this is going to be one of them situations where sometimes when you're young, people can use your loyalty against you. You know what I'm saying? I done did this and that and the third for you. They'll talk about everything that's happened from a historical standpoint, but ignore what's happening in the now. And ignore the fact that, bro, I don't have millions upon millions of dollars at my beck and call. Am I a lot more financially stable than the average blue-collar worker like me? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I have to get in the ring and fight. I still have, this is my job. I don't have the luxury of having millions of dollars like that. I don't. So you get back on your feet. I'll definitely come back and get money with you, Brody. Like, but I have a family to feed. I can't be one of them dudes who goes down with the ship. I think that's real unfair to expect somebody to do that. Whether you got a family or not, even if you dolo, it's like, man, I still got, I have to care for myself. But he pins them, it's like he browbeats them with that. At least that's the get down of it. That's the overall get down of it. At least that, on the outside looking in. He's telling, that's just the energy I get from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not, and maybe it ain't just him, but it's also motherfuckers that, just people that I've I've conversed with online. Oh, y'all want them to go out, turn their back on people who have been loyal to them. And man, that's not you can show loyalty, bro. If your job goes under, and this is a job that you've been at 10, 20 years, 15 years, if that job all of a sudden goes under, you are not supposed to go down with the ship. Because the management in that company they're not gonna just stay down with the ship. They're not sinking to the depths of the ocean. They finna get up off their ass and look for other means to make money. Because it's still things that they still have to take care of themselves, and there's still things that they want to do. So if it's a dying, if it's a sinking ship, if it's a dying breed over here, you can't expect your employees to just stick around, through thick and thin. You can't expect them to do that shit. You can't expect them to do that shit. You have access to a certain level of capital that they don't have. I think that shit is real selfish. That shit is real selfish. So yeah, just thank you, Al Heyman. I want to thank Al Heyman while I'm fighting on the Riyadh card. Thank you, Al Heyman. Like, what type of hypnosis does he have y'all under? How you thank somebody that's not even allowing you to put a rematch clause in the contract as a champion? That shit is just weird to me, man. That's weird. Gary Antoine Russell is not a better fight than Teo, and it's not a better fight than Richardson Hitchens. Neither was Alberto Cuello. Those aren't better fights. We being real, them ain't better fights than Liam Paro. Why? Because Liam Paro has been in with some credible opposition. He's been in with Subriel, and he's been in with Richardson Hitchens. He knocked out Montana Love. He beat the shit out of Steven Sparks. What are we doing, man? Like, and Alberto Puello, arguably, I didn't see the fight, but he just allegedly lost to fucking Sandor Martin. What are we doing? I keep allowing this dude to run game on y'all. So I'm real aggy that they let that, they put that man in that trick bag and he just allowed it, man. But I'm telling you a lot. He's not in a position where people feel some type of way when you start bringing up the past and everything that they done for you because you don't want to seem unappreciative or whatever. You don't want to. I'm thankful and I'm grateful for everything that you've done for me. Because of what you did for me in my past, I'm at where I'm at now. But where I'm at now is I can't allow my tools to get rusted waiting on you to get your bag back up to put on the shows that you was putting on back in 2023 and 5 and 6 years and 7 years before that. I can't do that. You dig? People just, and it's not just him, it happens a lot, man. They'll talk about your past and it'll completely de-arm you to what's going on in the now. That's predatory as a motherfucker. So yeah, man, that shit was whack. That shit was corny. Just it's scary Antoine Russell or nobody. Even though you have a champion over there in that same stable, man, I think that shit is. I think that shit is disgusting. I'm mad that they let that man play him like that. I'm mad that they did that shit. All the opportunity over there with Riyadh and them niggas. You gonna come back to the PBC to get beat by a dude who lost in his previous fight. Undeserving of a match of a title shot. You won't come back and lose to him. Like, come on, man, y'all got to be smarter than that. Don't let your loyalty run your ass into the ground, bro, because that's what that shit was. Weaponizing your loyalty. You gotta know when to sever top. Man, listen, man. What's the name of that? Raising Canaan. Officially, what's it? I think it's the third or is it the fourth season? I think it's the fourth season. That shit, is it the third season? See, the third season, D Wiz got clipped. Second season, they was funking with the Mile. Third season, yeah, it was Ronnie. So yeah, this is the fourth season. This is the fourth season. And when was it the second season when after Unique got out of after he got out of jail for that little stint that he was in because they found we don't have no evidence to match you to the cop getting shot. He got knocked off his feet, and his right hand man was like, bro, man, listen, I love you, bro, but I gotta get out here and I gotta eat. And the minute, as mad as Unique was about it, the minute he got in a position of where, all right, cool, I'm back to kingpin status now. All right, cool, I'll come over here and rock out with you again. And how did he show his loyalty to that man? He died defending him. He got clipped defending him. When it was wartime and the Italians came through, slid through, he bust back and took one on behalf of the fucking empire and got laid down. Motherfucker died for you, man. But at the end of the day, man, don't hinder me from going out here and seeking other opportunities to feed me and mine. Loyalty is a two-way street. And that clearly ain't no two-way street. So yeah, what Nestor and them was saying makes sense, man. It does seem like he's a lot more receptive to keep to the preservation of the brethren, which is a-okay with me. But at some point in time, y'all got to realize that that's not a-okay with y'all because y'all are not the part of the brethren. Y'all not us. So he's not gonna give y'all the same consideration that he may give everybody else. So yeah, man, hold your head up, Rayo. You be alright, and get your ass back over there with Riyadh and go get real money with them, and where you can stay active at. That's all I gotta say about it, man. I'm going into work. I see y'all when I see you. Y'all stay righteous. Doses.